Are you aware of the Franklin credit scandal?
How about this? We'll say that I know everything about it because I'm a smart boy, but
Yeah.
let's let the audience know about it.
Well, you remember Dale, because you're informed about these things.
I
The
have a
first,
big brain, so of course I remember. Hello, Internet. How are you? Got Adrian Mack back. Mac is back.
yeah,
What's that song? The Mac is back?
Return of
Return
the
of the
Mac.
Mac?
Yeah,
Okay.
good song. It's
Yeah, it
not.
is.
It's not a good song. No, it's.
I mean, it's got a catchy chorus.
Yeah, I remember it. So that's. But I also remember, Life in the Fast Lane. That's a terrible fucking song.
Yeah, when you're not living in the fast lane like this guy. It's my no, I'm just joking. Wait, when I say Return of the Mac is a good song, I'm thinking of the R&B song from the late 90s where they said Return of the Mac. Is that the
Yeah,
actual song?
that's what I'm thinking about too. And then you had there's a black exploitation movie called The Mac,
Oh yeah.
right? Which I've actually never seen. People tell me it's very good though.
Wow, isn't that your
What?
namesake?
Yeah, my namesake. That's right.
Hey, you know how there's that thing where you could tell someone who reads more than they talk by the way they pronounce some words?
Yeah.
It's funny because Candace Owens does it all the time where you just like you're reading and you pronounce something wrong.
I hear it all the time. We have a very close mutual friend, you and I, who I have nothing but respect for. I was talking to him recently, and he was trying to say the word linear, but he kept saying linear. Linear.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah, you know that's wrong. I know that's wrong.
Yeah.
Billy Idol knows that's wrong, but he didn't seem to know.
Yeah.
And yet easily smarter than me, more book smart than maybe not more book smart. I'm book smart. I'm not
Wait, we know someone who's more book smart than you?
oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm a fraud.
Is it the other guy who lives on the island?
Yeah.
On your little island?
Yeah, my little island. It's
The
it's not that
farmer?
small. Yeah, he's a farmer next, sort of.
You think he's
Yeah.
smarter than you?
Well, I think so. He's more
Wow.
accomplished.
Wow, you're very good at you wear it very well
I don't know.
if you're dumber than him.
Hey, I'm a good bartender, I tell you that.
Hey, that's all that counts.
Yeah.
You'd make a perfect bartender since
I
you're
know I
like
get praised for my bartending.
you're such a good like shoulder for advice.
Yeah, I
You're like
suppose.
my conspiracy yogi, so you got to be smart.
Yeah.
Well,
I
you
hear,
just
a lo-
have to
I
be
hear a lot
smarter
of
than me,
things.
so.
I tell you what, I hear a lot of things. There's some situations going on right now in my bar that I can't disclose. But
Secrets? You're gonna tempt me with secrets?
yeah, and like on a national scale, this thing that I'm thinking of that I can't talk about
Adrian,
has has
you're
uh
you're
has
literally killing me right now.
reverberations across the entire country in a way.
Dude, my
But
dick can
anyway,
only get so hard.
you were talking about Candace Owens,
Owens.
who I don't care for, but she
You know
amuses me.
what?
What?
Sorry. I just got to defend her because I used to be like I'd hear Candace
I'm
Owens
not
like
attacking her.
what? Sorry.
Okay.
Disparaging her, I guess. I don't
Not
know. Like,
really. I said I don't care for her. She might be brilliant for all I know. I don't know.
well, what I gotta say is she's like new Candace Owens is definitely different than old Candace Owens because I like ignored her for a long time because I thought she was part of that alternative right shit fest that I used to hate like 5 years ago. And
Yeah, yeah.
then she like started doing that Bridget McCrone is a dude thing. So I like started listening to her
Oh, she's not
podcast.
wrong.
And it's like it's almost it's funny because like I wanted to talk to you about the whole Charlie Kirk thing, and she released a podcast yesterday, and it's so fucking good because it sounds like a person who's left the cult talking about someone who is currently leaving the cult when she's because she used to be like pro-Israel, and now she's not anti-Israel, but she's like calling them out on
But
all of
she's
their
questioning
bullshit.
it. So I, do- I so I like that you are bringing this up
Hmm.
because from my very I don't know much about Charlie Kirk. Never listened to the man, and
Yeah.
I know very little about Candace Owens except that she's part of that ecosystem that you just described, and I
Hmm.
know the whole. I find the Bridget McCrone thing to be very amusing and but maybe even plausible, but
Hmm.
Or maybe it's a way of redirecting people's attention from the fact that um, of all the Manchurian presidents, Macron might be the most obvious and the most broken.
Yeah, he
You
is
know, like
pretty
there,
obvious.
that's an empty shell of a man who is, it seems to me anyway, very clearly groomed by this elderly gentleman that he's married to.
And he's also the one where it's like his bona fides just fall apart. Is it bona fides or bona fides? Because I've heard it
Let's ask
said
our farmer friend.
callback already, but I've heard it called bona fides and bona fides, but whatever those
I think
are.
it's a little bit from column A, a little from column B.
Tomato, potato,
Yeah, all right. But
his whatever you want to call them, they fall apart the fastest.
do you
Like,
recall when I think it was the quote unquote Ukraine war began,
you
and
mean the war that Kamala Harris started?
yeah, well, the one that the one where NATO is trying to put, trying to aggravate the border with Russia. You
Yeah,
know that one, the one where
yeah.
they ignored the peace accord and then with the whole overthrow, the coup in 2014 that no one talks about.
The
The
Mayan
the
Revolution or the
war that's
Maidan
being fought
Revolution?
by right-wing extremists and nationalists and that we
Yeah.
keep sending money to. That one?
The leftover Nazis? Yeah, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Uh, remember when that started up
Oh,
and
you mean
there
the
was
left-wing war that got all the fucking Democrats excited
yeah,
about war
the
again?
war that's okay
Yeah,
amongst anti-war people.
the justifiable war.
Yeah, the good war.
Yeah.
Well, when it began, I remember there was these amazing pictures of Manchurian Macron in his big fucking palatial French office.
Hmm.
They have the biggest offices over there in Europe, and especially in Paris.
Oh, they have
And
to,
there's
otherwise you
all
can't
these
brag
like
about
very
Paris.
dramatic pictures of him looking horribly anguished
Oh
over
yeah.
the loss of life that he now had to permit in his role as a great leader, protecting the West,
Hmm.
protecting liberal democracy. And of course, France is the seat of liberal democracy, liberal democracy. Yeah, it was great because it was so horrendously fucking shallow and obvious and kind of cute in a way.
Yeah.
I'm sure his partner Bridget was.
That's a weird,
Remember when
like,
she slapped him in the plane?
yeah. Apparently it
Oh
happened
man.
again. I haven't seen the second time. But like the funny thing about Macron is you called him cute or whatever, or what he was doing was cute. And I feel like they gave him because he's obviously set up and it's obviously all like just make believe and he's an actor and it's a Manchurian
He
candidate.
seems to be the most puppeteered of all of
He
them.
also seems to be like the guy you sympathize with. Like you were
No
saying with
sympathy at all.
well, like he's getting beat up by his wife on the regular. Like she slaps him in public in front of cameras. I can't imagine how much she's
Now it's like a
strangling him.
bit.
Yeah, that's true.
It's their shtick.
Yeah, like
Anyway,
he's
sorry, go on.
and he's all like, "Oh, her, haha." But it's like it's almost like they gave him her to make him seem more cute and more harmless so that he could like kind of pass under the radar and shit.
Perhaps. I mean, I think whoever they are, just
Mhm.
lucked out because, Bridget's been a part of the man's life for a very long time. And
Oh, since he was 14,
yeah,
apparently.
exactly. And I didn't know if we could say that without getting sued. Because isn't he suing
Yeah, he's
Candace
suing
Owens?
Candace Owens.
Well, I don't want to get sued by uh, what's it,
I
Bridget
would
Braun's
love to
husband.
be sued by them because that would mean that would just blow this podcast up and I'd be
It would,
famous.
but yeah, but I don't make a welder's wage, my friend, so I can't help
That's
with
true.
with that.
I I
Anyhow,
would I would just say you were innocent and I would take all the blame.
yeah,
And then they can have my
this is
$2,000 worth of life savings.
you got $2,000, huh?
Yeah,
Um,
ladies.
where were we? We were talking about yeah, Candace
Macron.
Owens and where she's at now in life. So you bring
Oh
up an
yeah.
important point because and this is without wanting to inflame all those people out there who quite rightfully hate Charlie Kirk. I'm not sure why, but that's not the point.
Okay.
What I want to say is, there are rumblings
Hmm.
about a meeting that Charlie Kirk was invited to
Oh,
with
dude, Candace
very
Owens was talking about this.
well. That's what I'm getting at. If you let me
Okay,
speak.
so let me run down the
Okay.
sexy information that Adrian Mack doesn't want to blow up his patrons of his bar. So Candace Owens on her podcast last night was talking because Netanyahu came out and he was like less than 24 hours after Charlie Kirk got murdered, he was
He
a
didn't
dear
do it.
friend. I called him on the phone, and then Candace Owens is like, "Yeah, what was that phone call about, Netanyahu?" And apparently, word on the street, according to Candace Owens' podcast, which running theme of this podcast is I tell you to go listen to other podcasts. But yeah, that episode, I'm only halfway through, but it's a banger so far. Anyways, she's talking about how they held an intervention for Charlie Kirk about a month ago because he was starting to sour on the way Israel is basically doing a genocide. Anybody who denies that at this point, like, or ethnic cleansing, if you don't want to say the word genocide, or like
Yeah, ethnic
desensitize
cleansing
the
so
word.
much better.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it sounds less worse. But anyways,
Uh,
so he's starting to speak up. Like he was on Megan Kelly's show, I think it was, and he
uh,
was talking about how he's upset about how the politicians are being dog walked by Israel. I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say dog walked, but he was basically saying like they have too much money in our politics and stuff. And what Candace Owens was saying that about a month ago, there was this intervention with Charlie Kirk where they took him to Martha's Vineyard, and
yeah,
it was like they had a meeting, and Netanyahu called him, and Candace Owens was referring it to basically as his last chance to get back on the team, the Israel team, and they promised him a whole bunch of money. And she says that Charlie Kirk said no, and then that's why, or and this all happened because a month ago, or like a little bit before that, Turning Point had this big live show where they had Tucker Carlson and Dave Smith speaking, who are both right wing and very. They're not anti-Israel, but they're like, "Yo, Israel is fucking doing a genocide. They got to stop. This is wrong, or whatever."
yeah.
So yeah, and then yeah, so
Here's what the
that's
Gray Zone has to say about it. I
yeah.
mean, I consider the Gray Zone to be a somewhat more credible source
Is
than
that Matt
Candace Owens.
Blumenthal?
That's Max Blumenthal.
Yeah, I
And
love
I have
him.
questions about Max Blumenthal, by the way. I also have questions about Aaron Mate,
Hmm.
son of Gabor Mate. I have
Oh,
a lot
is
of
he?
respect for both of them. Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I did not. That makes sense. How many Mattes could there be?
Three.
3?
Yeah.
Matte's the one who lives in Brazil, right, with his husband?
What? No, that's Glenn Greenwald, you
Oh,
freak. No, Aaron,
I'm
Gabor
getting
Mate.
all these guys mixed up.
Yeah, a whole other thing. And I have questions about Glenn Greenwald. I have questions about you, frankly.
Oh wait,
But
is Matte the one who did the Twitter files?
no, the
Oh
Twitter
God.
files was your oh fuck, what's his face? Guy got used Matt Taibbi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of these guys are one guy to me, and because they're
They
always
really are.
guests
Well, you make
on
up an important point because
podcasts.
it is, I've already used this word, I'm going to use it again, but it's just a big ecosystem. And I think if you need to step outside of it and look at the multiplicity of narratives that contribute to the one big narrative. Now, the one big narrative is that whatever, whoever you believe in, whoever you're listening to, whoever you despise, whoever you admire inside this ecosystem, and I'm talking about the political sphere and I'm talking about the media sphere because they're the same thing. Whoever you are listening to inside of that sphere is lying. They're all whatever side they might be on, whether it's left, right, lib, con, dem, whatever, up, down. They're all involved in this project of ushering us into a sort of top-down, technocratic, totalitarian,
Oh no, not the
digital
technocracy.
fucking yes, absolutely. The digital gulag as it's being described. while Western democracies are being dismantled very
Hmm.
quickly, very quickly. Um, the West is bankrupt. We need a way out. And the people in charge who've dreamt of this opportunity for generations are finally getting their chance. But I'm going a little bit off topic here.
But
Bill Ackman is who we're referring to, the very wealthy CEO of
mm,
something. What is it? Some fucking thing. I don't care. But yeah, here's the gray zone. Billionaire Bill Ackman convened stormy Israel intervention with Charlie Kirk, sources say. Kirk was, quote, hammered, and they don't mean drunk, hammered at Hampton's meeting this August for his growing criticism of Israel influence. Sources say he left upset and fretted about, quote, blackmail. Now, I think it's a little heavy-handed to accuse Israel of using blackmail to achieve its ends. I don't I think
there's never been a whole
that's going a little
island set
far.
up to do that before.
No, that's where you enter the realm of conspiracy theory, as far as I'm concerned.
That's where I live, Adrian.
So seriously, though, I mean, perhaps if let's go back inside the bubble, inside the
Mhm.
media ecosphere, where we're supposed to care about this shit, and I do care.
Wait, can I still like Tucker Carlson?
I don't care if you like to. Yeah, you can do whatever you
No,
want,
but
man.
is
Hey,
he
I'm not telling. I don't go around telling people what to think.
or making laws about it? No, what I'm
Yeah,
asking is
not
I'm
flattening
just
anyone.
kind of like jokingly asking, would you include Tucker Carlson, say Dave Smith, Jimmy Dore in this ecosystem of the lies, the bubble
I'm
that you're
afraid
talking about?
so. Yeah, and I really
No.
enjoy Jimmy. Well, Jimmy's gotten sloppy. I
Yeah.
love Kirk. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Kurt Metzger.
Dude, he's awesome.
That man lays it on the line, and I think actually he's transgressed. He's made it into the bubble, and I think the bubble's going to remove him again. He's been
Oh,
removed
really?
once. Yeah, and anyway, I mean, I have respect for Jimmy Dore. I think he's the real thing. I don't agree with everything, but he says. But Kurt, I'm glad he's got Kurt there to really. Maybe that's why Kurt's there. Kurt will say the things that Jimmy can't,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that. Kurt seems like a man with nothing to lose and everything to say.
That's what happens when you escape the Moonies, man. You've seen life at the bottom of the barrel, so you know it can't get
What do you
worse
mean?
than it was.
Was he a Mooney?
Yeah, he escaped he was like raised in the Moonies, the
The
cult.
Moonies.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why he's so wild and like because he has this like
Huh.
high high level of like bullshit filter where he can see it all and he mentions it every now and then. It's like when he goes on Joe Rogan he talks about it more at length. But he's saying like since he escaped the cult and he like woke up to the cult while he was in it, that now he can see he notices when people are like trying to like do shit and kind of like lead you and try to get you to do certain things
Yeah, he's
because of
trained.
his experience with it.
Moonies, though, it seems like such a second-rate cult these days, but they were enormous. The Moonies owned the Washington Times back in the,
Oh,
maybe they
really?
still do. Yeah. And the Washington Times, very famously or infamously, I suppose, was the paper that first headlined the Franklin scandal. Are you aware of the Franklin credit scandal?
How about this? We'll say that I know everything about it because I'm a smart boy, but
Yeah.
let's let the audience know about it.
Well, you remember Dale, because you're informed about these
I
things.
have a big brain, so of course I remember.
The Franklin credit scandal, which took place in the 80s out of Omaha, Nebraska. There was a very prominent Republican by the name of Larry King, not the talk show host,
Mm,
different guy, African American gentleman, as a matter of fact. Very, very much loved by the Republican vanguard. And he was the president of a credit union in Omaha, Nebraska, which, after an investigation, turned out to be uh, the center of an enormous child and sex trafficking ring
oh,
that was connected to the U.S. intelligence community.
Oh.
Oddly enough, that's again doesn't happen very often, but
Is
this
this the
time it did.
CIA? Is this the like I hear people reference the CIA and how they won't arrest all the like child pedos they know about because it would burn all their like
Well, they need them,
all
and
their collaborators.
you need them in, yeah,
Yeah.
they're useful.
They're what is it? ICs?
What's IC mean?
CI, confidential informants.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
I don't know why I said
So
ICs.
this scandal really blew up, and there was a big trial that ensued, and the cover up and the intervention by federal agencies was brutal. So all the victims ended up getting re-victimized. It was also connected to the Boys Town Orphanage in Omaha, Nebraska. Very highly placed pedophile ring,
Ugh.
which the Washington Times revealed in a front page headline, stretched all the way to the Reagan White House. And they talked about in this article how boys from this pedophile ring were given a tour, a midnight tour of the White House. And then Vice President George Herbert Walker Bush was implicated
Oh.
very heavily in the scandal. And that was the Moonies that, because the Moonies owned the Washington Times. The
Oh,
Reverend
that's crazy.
Young Moon, who at that point in the 80s had actually accrued quite a bit of power in Washington, D.C. And that's always what cults are about. They're always very highly politically connected.
So, just to backtrack a sec, Herbert Walker, was he implicated in this while he was vice president
Yes.
or when he was head of the CIA?
No, he was vice president at the time. In
Okay.
fact, if if I'm going to misremember, I won't remember it perfectly, but the headline was something like VP ensnared in child sex ring, something like that. Front page, Washington Times,
Damn.
1988.
That is wild. Can you hear
Look it
the
up.
traffic outside my window? Sorry.
No. Can you
Okay.
hear the bats and the owls outside mine?
No, yours is way interesting. No, I just realized I left the window open. I'm
We
just
get
gonna
cougars.
close it quick.
Sure.
Okay.
So it's just me now.
Yeah, no, just hold on. I'm just actually gonna pause the recording. Sorry for the interruption,
People in
Adrian.
Washington, they call it Washington, hey?
Washington.
Yeah, I'm gonna find this headline for you.
Okay.
But you carry on. I don't want
Oh,
to
me carry on. You were
wait
like
for me.
fucking chest deep in this riveting story about the 80s and scandal that
Well,
I
but it
definitely
all goes back. Look, listen, you can't be blind to history, son. So this whole Charlie Kirk thing,
yeah.
you know, I'm just whatever. I'm an idiot. I'm old. I don't care. I'm a bartender.
Mhm.
My ideas don't count. However,
I'm a
you
welder.
know,
I don't know anything.
here's the thing. You know, you really just have to go to the fucking mother of all American assassinations to understand any of them. Go
Hmm.
back and look at what they did to Mr. John F. Kennedy. And
Yeah.
already in this Charlie Kirk situation, you've got the patsy, this kid,
Yeah.
who you've got the FBI lying about it and making shit up.
Oh yeah, how they were
By
like,
the way,
we found a manifesto, but then we destroyed it.
yeah, it didn't exist.
Yeah,
There's no
we had a
trace of the
confession
man,
letter, but then we
but
wrecked
somehow
it.
we what was it? We used our enhanced torture methods to fucking get some kid to say, yeah, I did it, and then we used Chat GPT to make this fake Discord conversation, whatever. And then you got this crazy pedophile who was the distraction, this old fucking Jewish boomer.
Was he a pedophile?
Yeah, they found what they like to call now child sex abuse material on his phone.
Oh, on his phone?
Yeah, because
No,
he's also a fucking patsy. These people, whatever.
nobody
I was
walks
referring
around
to the
with that on their
Manchurian
phone.
president. These are all Manchurian patsies and Manchurian distractions.
Yeah, that was a. Oh, did you hear about that, Boomer? He was like, apparently he called in a bomb threat right after the Boston bombing too, and he's like done this multiple times before, where he would just go where something happened and just like try to get himself into the spotlight of the whole situation.
Wild.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta show you this though.
Okay, show me.
Where is it? No, I can't. It's been scrubbed.
Oh no.
Well, I'll show you the cover of the book. There's an excellent book written by a fellow by the name of Nick Bryant. There it is, The Franklin
Okay.
Saga. I know you like to read.
I love to read, I just have no time to read.
Yeah, same.
I do like to listen to audiobooks, which I just say is reading because I'm still taking in the book.
I won't do it. I won't do it.
Really?
I'll read the damn book. But yeah, but
But
I don't, I don't hold it against you. Again, I'm not
I like
telling
to
people
listen
how to
to it.
live their lives.
I like to listen to audiobooks while I work, so I can't read a book and work.
As a welder,
Yeah.
don't you need to be very focused on your welding?
No, 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 no. It's
Okay.
all
There's
very
only
boring.
building fucking bridges that you drive over every day,
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm
listening
just
to fucking Candace Owens.
those fucking boom lifts that lift you up 80 feet in the
Yeah.
air. I'm working on those, not bridges. Just
Oh,
those boom lifts. No, but like if I didn't listen to like podcasts or books, I would not be able to handle my job because it is too boring and I
yeah.
would lose my mind.
Is it really? You find that boring, huh?
Oh,
Welding?
so boring. Building stuff? Like building stuff is all right, but you're just like it's
You should
boring.
try writing for a living.
Yeah.
That's boring.
It's
Um,
hard.
yeah, it's hard because it feels like you're just wasting fucking every minute of your life.
Yeah, and I have vocabulary Alzheimer's where I just fucking words just disappear out of my head when I'm trying to think of them. Anybody who's seen more than 10 minutes of this podcast knows that, where I'll like trying to think of a word and it's just gone.
So we've got the patsy, we've
Yeah.
got the distraction, we've got the dead person who is now uh, what is he? A screen for everyone to project their shit onto.
Mm-hmm.
It seems obvious to me, and I'm an idiot, I'm a bartender, but it seems obvious to me that this event, which is, I think, a deep state event, I do believe this. And
Yeah.
I use the term deep state not in the sense, I know a lot of people were introduced to the term deep state, but through Trump. But in fact, it's been around for a long time. And if I may be wrong, but certainly the first time I heard the term deep state was a long time ago,
Yeah.
and it was used by a Canadian academic uh, who he's a professor at Berkeley, and of course now I'm blanking on his name, Peter Dale Scott, who you would never describe as a right winger or a fascist or a Republican or a neo-Nazi or any of these things.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Canadian socialist working at the University of Berkeley who's done a lot of work investigating deep state events, particularly the Kennedy assassination, but also probably this is more sexy to your listeners, I suppose, the Iran-Contra affair.
Oh yeah, that's that
Yeah,
especially because Epstein was involved in that.
yeah, that's
So
right.
that's very topical right now. You
Yeah.
think of Iran Contra, you're like, all that bullshit from the 80s with Nixon that we don't care about. Well, well, well. That's why you can't read the Epstein files, is because that there's like six more. This is my theory. My theory is they won't release the Epstein files because it's not about like there's kid touching in there, but they don't give a fuck about that. Obviously, from as you just rolled out the Franklin scandal,
They're quite fond of it.
they just kind of brush it away. But what they don't want everybody to see is that there's like fucking Epstein was like an arms dealer because he was with the guy who helped Israel buy the arms to sell to the Contras. So I think that the Epstein files actually have like six more instances of illegal arms dealing on behalf of the states and third parties.
Yeah, I think you may be onto something actually. It is about more than the child fucking.
Yeah, because they've known
But
about the child fucking since like 2007 when he got arrested the first time.
you will have noticed, I'm sure, that the Charlie Kirk assassination dislodged a number of things from the news cycle, such as it is these days. I mean, it only
Yeah.
lasts at best 48 hours. But one of those things was the birthday book. So no,
Oh yeah,
everybody
that
was
was
talking about
fucked.
it was super fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, it was actually in a way more fucked than watching a guy's neck explode
Mm-hmm.
on a campus. Um, so that's disappeared.
It's
What
can't
else
you
is?
read it online or is it that gone? Is that gone?
Oh, no, it'll be out there, but who cares? It's
Yeah.
already, past its sell by date. It's already retired. in terms
Mm-hmm.
of people's interest. It achieved nothing. We have, it's right there. Here it is. Here's a fuck, it's on the record. People that you have commended your lives to, not Donald Trump, he's in there, but say let's take a Bill Gates, for instance, or an Alan Dershowitz, or a whole number of people. They're in there applauding Jeffrey Epstein's success as a pedophile.
Hey, Bill Gates was only talking to Epstein because he wanted to get a fucking, what was it? He wanted a peace prize or whatever it is, a Nobel Peace Prize. So he enlisted like the scummiest person on the earth to help him get it.
To be fair, I think in every other way, Bill Gates is blameless. I got no other dirt on him besides that.
Yeah, no, that's actually when we were talking about Jimmy Dore before. One of the things I really appreciate is he goes through painstaking lengths to show you all the evil that Bill Gates does. Like
Yeah,
how, because the Bill Gates, I don't know if it's the Bill and Melinda Foundation, but Bill Gates has like kind of sideways bought a whole bunch of like college publication newspapers and stuff just by like giving them a whole bunch of money.
right.
I can't remember what episode it was, but Jimmy Dore walked you through it, and it's like he helps you along the way.
Yeah, again, I appreciate Mr. Dorr. I really do. Did you
Mhm.
go see him when he was in Vancouver? Was that
No,
recently? No.
he was here recently. I don't know. I don't really go to shows anymore. Um,
Oh, because of your agoraphobia.
yeah, no,
Is it
because
agoraphobia or is
agoraphobia is the fear of the open spaces.
that's what I'm talking about? And
No, I don't.
angoraphobia is fear of a rabbit down sweater.
I was gonna say, yeah. No, I stopped going to events because I went to Jimmy Carr and Jim Jeffries, and it was like 3 hours long, and my back was exploding for over half of it because I'm old and I'm overweight, so my back just like does not like little seats. But I also just went to the outdoor festival that was here Saturday night, and I saw John Mulaney and stuff. So that was the first time I'd been to an event in like over a year.
Excellent.
But it was like fold out seats so I could move around more so it didn't hurt my back the same way, you know what I mean?
Could you grab two seats, one for each cheek?
No, because well, I'm talking about like stadium seating because it's too
Oh.
skinny, so like it pinches your hips together and then I don't know, it's just fat guy
The
problems.
the other thing that was blown right off the headlines, not that it was ever going to penetrate the mainstream anyway,
Hmm.
but there was the Senate hearings on vaccine safety, which
Oh
have
yeah,
been
that's wild.
fucking
Some
wild, completely devastating. Now,
some
I know,
lefties have
I
big
do
problems with
understand. I
that.
want to, put a caveat here. I do know that out there in the world of your podcast listeners of the Outrage Factory, yeah, there are certain let's say radioactive topics that just should not be they're not to be broached.
Oh yeah, vaccines is definitely
And
one of them.
that's one of them. Vaccine safety is one of those things. It is a fucking third rail.
Hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, since I've had a little red wine,
Hello.
I'll be honest with you, my kids have all their jabs. I've had all my shots except for one
You
notable
don't
shot.
do you have as many as your kids do though? They get like 72 now.
Yeah, I know.
I don't have as many as my kid does, and we kind of didn't do them all.
Good for you.
Yeah.
They're not safe, and that's what's emerging in this
See,
Senate hearing.
like,
And it's here's a
yeah.
before you say anything. This is my show.
Okay.
In this Senator, what's emerging is what has been known for a long time, but has been scoffed at, derided, and otherwise discredited through the usual agencies. But at this point, it's irrefutable. These things are doing tremendous damage to kids, and we
Oh yeah.
talk. You feel outrage, as do I,
Hmm.
at certain genocides that are happening in the world. But there has been a fucking genocide with infants that no one they won't talk people won't talk about it because it's unseemly because
Yeah,
they're
see, the thing about for me is it's like I'm a fucking ride or die RFK, although he's way off on Israel, but I fucking love that
He's the
man.
most messed up fucker ever, but he's right about a few things.
And I take unending shit from basically every person I talk to for actually liking him. Everybody hates him, but I don't give a fuck. He's right. And basically what he's saying is, okay, you want us to take the vaccines, then prove they're safe. He's not saying get rid of them forever. He's just saying pause, let's do some actual clinical testing to prove that they're safe and not just like push them out. Like they're giving babies hepatitis B vaccines,
Yeah,
which is fucking ridiculous. I didn't know that. And
yeah.
then my baby got one, and I was like, wait, why the fuck did she get one? She's not gonna
So
get
look, dude, I
hepatitis.
mean, this subject is very, very delicate, but it is now, I think it has been established beyond a reasonable doubt. And you can never know for sure, but
Mm-hmm.
beyond a reasonable doubt, it has been established that SIDS is vaccine related, that autism is vaccine related, that a whole host
Mm-hmm.
of neurological disorders are vaccine related.
Mm.
And they know this because of a study that was conducted by a pro-vaccine lobby
Yeah.
that was so devastating in its findings that they fucking buried it for 5 years. This came out in the Senate. And Aaron Siri, who's a lawyer who litigates against pharmaceutical companies, and who's, I would challenge anybody who's getting mad right now listening to this to just fucking listen to what Aaron Siri has to say.
Mm-hmm.
And in a nutshell, it's this. If these products are safe, why, after 35 years, do they still have protection from liability? If they're
Mm-hmm.
safe, they should stand on their own merits. But they can't because they don't, because they're not safe. And that's not to say that everybody's been damaged, but for the love of Christ, what are we doing? This
Yeah.
is regulatory capture on a huge scale, and it's happening in Canada big time. And it's what Toby Rogers calls epistemic capture, where the production of knowledge is so completely in the hands of a certain lobby, in this case, the pharmaceutical industry, that doctors, they may be innocent. They don't even fucking know anymore. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
say something I shouldn't say, but I know
Ooh.
this. I know this because I was, my doctor here. No, I can't say it. I can't say it. I can't do that. I can't tell you what he told me.
Just fucking edging me all podcast, Adrian.
I know.
First, it was the old guys at your bar. You wouldn't tell me what they were saying, and then I figured it out anyway because I have a giant brain. Yeah, we don't have to talk about it. Like the thing with RFK too is like if you listen to Joe Rogan, like RFK goes on there for 3 hours, and he was talking about I can't remember which specific vaccine it was, but they were saying that it was safe because they tested it on monkeys, and then like they would shoot it in the monkeys, and then a while later they would test the monkeys again and it would have dissipated from their body and they're like okay the vaccine just disappeared and then another group of people came along and they're like well did it break the blood brain barrier so they cut open these monkeys brains and the aluminum from the vaccine was in their brains and then they're like because we were told that the vaccine wasn't gonna the aluminum from the
Wait,
vaccine
are
wasn't
you
gonna
talking about because the COVID-19 vaccine
no this isn't COVID this is before
penetrated every organ of the
oh
body
yeah
because of the lipid nanoparticle encapsulation, which by the way, technically is why it's not is it it's not only not a vaccine, it's not a traditional RNA intervention. It's modified RNA. The liquid nano
yeah
particle is designed to penetrate organs of the body that are supposed to be impenetrable. So the problem with the COVID-19 vaccine, and this came up in the testimony, which nobody knows about, is that this RNA got into your brain, it got
yeah
into your heart, it got into your fucking ovaries, it got into your testes, it got everywhere. So
mm-hmm
now your entire body is manufacturing the spike protein, which means your entire body is inflamed. Your entire body is fighting itself. And what have we seen in the wake of this program? It's not like it was mandated or anything. So, maybe I'm getting
yeah
carried away. But what we've seen is this enormous increase, not only in death, but in injury, especially with metabolic disorders and immune disorders, which would make sense if the
mm-hmm
body's attacking itself. Uh, I mean,
Yeah,
again,
no, as far as yeah.
this is what's been blown out of the news cycle because of the because Charlie Kirk got
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
got
no, the
off.
one I was talking about was they were using aluminum in the vaccines to kind of help, I don't know, like mix them better or whatever.
That's the adjuvant, and yes, and it's supposed right, whatever. It
And
makes
then
it more
like
effective.
their their like solve for this problem was they used a different type of aluminum.
Yeah, okay.
And like even aside, like another thing too. Oh, sorry, I'll try to say one thing at a time. But even aside, if this aluminum from that isn't causing like something detrimental like autism or whatever, it's still gonna like up your chances of getting like fucking Alzheimer's. Because aluminum, like they're saying that you can't use fucking pit stick because the aluminum in that will give you Alzheimer's.
Well, that's something that you bring up. That's interesting because there's no consistency to the messages that we receive.
Yeah.
Right. Like I remember when the ozone layer was a problem, and that's no longer a problem now. It's we have a different problem.
Well, that's because we
And
stopped using the same aerosols or whatever.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
You
That
know,
so
we just
that's big.
stopped doing something and it healed itself. This
But
problem
a
that was never
tiny,
going
tiny,
away.
tiny, tiny portion. And you got to think about like if you think of the entire globe as a square, right? Let's like the flat Earth people,
Yeah.
let's unfurl it and just hang it up like it's a big square map. And if
Hmm.
you took all of humanity, right, and you tried to represent them on that map, it would be a vanishingly small pinpoint. We're very, very, very tiny. Now, take that tiny, tiny dot and think about all the people that were using aerosols on their armpits. Not very many. It's nothing. It's
Yeah.
fucking nothing. But whatever. I know these ideas they take root and they become very popular. It's all about the narrative.
Hmm.
But what was I saying? I've
Oh
lost my
wow, the
I've
stuff
lost
that's
my
been wiped off the front page with the Charlie Kirk murder.
Hmm,
Did I tell you my conspiracy about the Charlie Kirk murder?
no.
And you're not gonna like this
You're right.
because
I
we've
already,
already talked about patsies and stuff. My conspiracy is there is no conspiracy.
oh,
I think this kid, this 22-year-old, I can't remember his name, Raymond something. I think he did it. I think he was a guy who fucking hated his conservative police dad. He grew up in a house hearing conservative shit his whole life and he fucking hated it. And then he saw Charlie Kirk, who's the Pied Piper of right-wing college kids, and he saw as he was going to college, he saw people that he would see as like this is all like me just guessing, like building a motive. So he would see like he would interact with these students because he was actually in trade school, so he would know a lot of right wing people. And he was, and supposedly, if what they're telling us is true, that he was had a live in sexual partner who was transitioning to be a woman who was also a furry, which is the trifecta of shit lib that they just like wanted to throw out there and be like, yeah, that's what happened. It's the unicorn of shit libs. He's living with that.
so you first of all, I would ask you. That's what you trust Trump's FBI on this issue. So
No,
first,
I don't
but
trust them
secondly,
about the partner.
so you think this kid got a bullseye from 150 yards,
Yeah.
and then you think this kid an hour later was on a unregistered, unchartered flight
See, I
out of
don't
a near.
know if that's connected to this kid because like I saw
Well,
somewhere else.
somebody was spirited away.
Well, somebody said that's bullshit that didn't happen and I was like, "Oh, okay, I don't know. Did it happen or didn't?"
Well,
So,
the flight was tracked.
okay, but I'm saying all this ancillary stuff could have happened. Like that might not have been him on there.
Ancillary.
What did I say?
I don't know. Ancillary. I don't
Yeah,
know.
whatever. All this extra stuff that is happening around the edges is maybe set to confuse and obfuscate what actually happened. But to me, my conspiracy theory is
But
this
why
kid
obfuscate? Why up? Sorry, I'm sorry. Go on.
so that they could use it and just cause confusion around the whole the whole fucking thing. So yeah, my conspiracy theory is this kid just shot him. Like 150 yards isn't that hard of a shot. Sniper rifles have really good scopes right now. He was using a bolt action. He was in the prone position. They're very accurate. I don't think he was aiming at the neck, is the other thing.
Oh, he missed.
Yeah, I think he
He just
missed his
happened to get a
head.
kill shot. It was an accidental kill shot. Well, I'll tell you
I
what.
think he was aiming for the face
This is
and
where
he didn't account for the drop, and that's why it hit him in the neck.
whatever. Okay, this is where our theories dovetail because I think you're wrong about this,
Hmm.
but whatever happened, it seems pretty clear to me that this event is being used
Oh
to
yeah.
inflame tensions, to increase what we call the strategy of tension, what other people are dubbing domestic gladio, which is happening in the States and is happening in Canada, I believe, right now, and it's happening
Hmm.
across Europe, where tribalism is being we are being herded into our tribes, and
Yeah.
what they want is chaos on the ground. Because what's the solution to that? The solution to that is more policing, increased military budgets, and what I mentioned earlier, the imposition of this of control of
Hmm.
this. In fact, we'll be begging for it. We'll be begging for our leaders to bring an end to all of this chaos,
Yeah,
right?
and see, in like stuff that helps your theory is the fact that Charlie Kirk was actually kind of anti-tribal. Like everybody paints him out to be this polarizing figure when he wasn't. Like, I'll just read you this quote because I was re-listening to his episode on Tucker Carlson and he said this thing and I was like, oh crap. So Tucker Carlson is like talking to him about because Charlie Kirk is like he started Turning Point and it's basically like he's trying to like organize the young Republicans, like like college age Republicans. And Tucker asks him, "What do the young voters care about?" And then Charlie Kirk replies, "So there's a race against the clock that's happening right now. I think President Trump is uniquely suited to fix it. He has to fix it." Which is, can we reorder the economic reality of under 30s before dark political radicalization sets in? So the thing about Charlie Kirk is like a lot of people hate him, like some people were asking me, they're like, why do people so many people hate Charlie Kirk? And the short answer is he does say some dumb shit. Like he refers to
Yeah.
the HR, like on this Tucker Carlson, he refers to like having an HR job as a pink collar job because it's for women, and if men do it they'll just be depressed because they won't be like answering their man needs or whatever. So whatever, that's one of the things he hates, but he's also very heightenedly aware because he spends so much time on colleges' campuses. He's heightenedly aware of what he termed the lost boys of the states, which is like how young men are just getting disillusioned with the economic like situation in the states, so they're all just pulling out of the society. Like it's happening in Japan too, where these guys
Yeah.
are like they're not like trying, they have no ambition or whatever because they feel like whatever they can't get the things that would make that used to be able to get, like you used to be able to buy a house, they
Yeah.
feel like they'll never own,
Yeah.
so they're just pulling back, they're playing video games, they're being terminally online, and they're so he's like trying to reach out and he's like, so what you're saying about the tribalization of America, if you have a guy like Charlie Kirk who's like, "Hey, we got to pay attention to these lost boys," and he's like trying to like him and Jordan Peterson are trying to teach these guys how to like get some self-respect. Like whatever you think about Jordan Peterson, like some of the stuff he says is very intelligent. He's like, "Are you depressed? Clean your room." Like it's not going to make you undepressed, but you feel better when your room is clean. So it's just like he's kind of like
It's one
take
of the things he's right about.
He's
But
yeah, he's like starting you on the path
yeah,
to self-assurance.
right.
And I don't know, like one thing I feel about Charlie Kirk, Jordan Peterson, and Tucker Carlson is they all have these weird sexist beliefs about like how like it was way better when men were in charge. But as a man, probably it probably would be a little bit
No,
better.
in the end, they're all representing an ideology that you probably don't want to be a part of, even if some of the things that Charlie Kirk or Jordan Peterson say are
Hmm.
correct. But
Well, that was
unfortunately,
my point. Was like you got to take the kernels of knowledge that they have and kind of throw away the shaft. Like you keep the fucking piece of the wheat you like, throw away the shaft. The thing is, you got to like take your life lessons from everywhere and kind of amalgamate it into your own wisdom. So like you can't just like the problem. One of the problems I see right now is everybody's like sees Charlie Kirk, sees that he calls HR jobs pink collar jobs, and it's horribly sexist and whatever. If you want to be a femboy and work in HR, fucking go ahead. but he also says stuff about how there's like you can't just pull away from society because you'll be like unfulfilled and stuff. And Jordan Peterson's telling you that if you have a clean house, you'll have some self-respect. And then Tucker Carlson's like saying, "Hey, maybe you like whatever he says. He's like a boomer." Or no, he's not. He's like elder Gen X. But anyways, you got to just take the kernels from all these spots and kind of internalize it and make your own wisdom
Oh, of course.
and kind of see what helps. So like
I
I
don't
just
know.
don't
Are
yeah.
are they saying that? I mean, whether they are or not is irrelevant. But you know, I would prefer to refer to someone like Matthias Desmet, who is the professor at
Who
Matthias Desmet is a very interesting cat.
does he have a podcast?
Probably not,
There you go.
but he has a good job at the University of, is it Ghent in Belgium? And a few years ago, he published a book on the psychology of totalitarianism.
Hmm.
I am going to keep coming back. I'm going to hammer on this because I do think that's what's happening on a global
Oh
scale.
yeah.
And it's you know we live in the West where we
Hmm.
have a certain political complexion that is being rapidly dismantled right under our noses. And boy oh boy do I know a lot of people who are just pretending that's not happening.
Yeah.
But it's fucking happening. And then you've got, you know, you have China and you have Russia, which it's a different deal, but they're all, well, China's already there. China's the
Hmm.
model. Um, and I will remind you that our previous prime minister said he quite admired that model. But Matthias Desmet wrote a book on the psychology of totalitarianism,
Hmm.
and he came up with the phrase mass formation psychosis, and uh, and he describes the conditions that give rise to the not only the acceptance of totalitarianism, but and I see this all around me right now, but the desire for it. People want answers because they want solutions, right? And they're going to look to their political leaders who have abandoned them, but they're going to look to those people because they don't know any better. They're going to look to
Hmm.
those people for solutions. So they're going to look to Pierre Polyev, who's a piece of shit, or they're
Oh
going to
dude,
look
he
to
sucks.
Mark Carney, who's a piece of shit, or they're going to look to whomever. They're all pieces of shit, and they're all on the same page. We have a uniparty here in Canada. There's a uniparty in the States. There's a uniparty in the UK. They're all on the same page.
Hmm.
The details, the way they get there might be, you know, there's some frilly differences, but they're all working towards the same goal right now. And Matthias Desmet identifies the psychological condition inside a population that allows for this to happen, and he calls it free floating anxiety. And
Yeah.
that's what we have here in Canada for sure. And these events contribute to free floating anxiety. And you will probably note that um, one of the genius things about this Charlie Kirk operation, if I may call it that, and I say that with, you know, I hate this. I fucking hate this. I don't know the guy. I don't know what he did. I don't I I've noticed the celebrating. I've noticed the cheering from certain people, and
Hmm.
I don't care for that. But I think that I think they're being used. I
Yeah.
think their reaction, which may be natural, it's being exploited. So I'm not totally on board with all the firings and everything else
You know what?
because
Okay.
I do think that is the purpose of this whole thing. I do
Hmm.
think that there is an agenda here,
Oh
if I
yeah.
have to be, you know, really blunt about it. And what I was going to say was Charlie Kirk, as I understand it, was a Christian, and I know that there is a portion of the progressive community that has nothing but contempt for that.
Oh yeah.
And sadly, you know, you don't have to have contempt for people with faith. I think it's a mistake. You don't
Hmm.
have to like their faith. You don't have to like that they have that, but you have to accept that that is the principle in their life that makes them decent for the
Hmm.
most part, you know? And and yet this is another aspect of this operation that is really contributing to the inflammatory nature of everything right now. You texted me earlier and said, "Is this the Franz Ferdinand of the culture war?" And you know, I laughed And
Yeah.
it's in some ways it's a completely insane analogy, but in other ways, no, of course it's not. Like, yeah, it kind of is. It's obviously because it's still lingering in ways that other news
Hmm.
events don't. It is obviously has taken it's a big psychic blow to the sort of the mass consciousness,
Yeah.
to our culture. And Matthias Desmet nailed that when he talked about mass formation psychology. It's we're,
Hmm.
we and anyway, ultimately, what does that mean? That means that we are on the road to totalitarianism. And boy, oh boy, people need to get out of their fucking bubbles. They need to get out of their algorithms, their reality tunnels. They need to start listening. They need to start um, abandoning some of the sort of more extreme views they have, especially with regard to who they consider to be their ideological enemies.
Hmm.
Speaking as a bartender who used to work for a newspaper in Vancouver, which was absolutely a fucking echo chamber of progressive nonsense,
Hmm.
I can tell you that out in the real world, people are sick and tired of this shit. They just want peace.
Oh yeah. Like people are so sick of the like echo chamber that like Trump got elected twice. Just not because people thought that Trump could solve it or that he's a good leader or he's going to change everything. They picked him because fuck you. We're sick of what you've been telling us.
Oh,
We're sick
absolutely.
of the lies. We would rather burn it down than
And they
have
were
to deal with
wrong.
more of this.
They got it wrong. They were handed a toxic choice,
Hmm.
whether they knew it or not. But you're absolutely right. I'm sick to death and have been for many years now of the rampant and wanton uh, loathing of the quote unquote Trump voter that I hear from people.
Oh yeah,
And
the
you
basket
don't
of
know what the fuck you're
deplorables
talking
talk.
about. You don't know who these people are. They're
Yeah.
regular people and they're desperate people. They're
Yeah.
hurting. And the compassionate ones among us, the ones who trumpet their fucking compassion all the time and
Oh yeah.
their genius for empathy. I hear about it. They tell me all the time about it. They have no compassion for these people.
You know how I have
None.
to tell you how empathetic they are? People who aren't empathetic. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like what you're saying about like the brace of authoritarianism. Like I feel like the left, like we were texting, I can't remember what you were talking about, but it was like I said like the left embraced authoritarianism because that's the only headway that they'd seen, excuse me, in the last however many years. Like because they were like trying to get all these rights and stuff and they're pushing for it. And then it wasn't until they just started cancel culture and the culture wars that they started seeing gains for what they believed was their like compassionate fight that you're talking about. Like we're talking like the pronoun stuff, the transgender stuff, the like all that sort of thing. And then like they were embracing authoritarian methods to get that stuff done.
I know we probably shouldn't venture too far into this topic. This is a whole other podcast, but
Oh, dude, I feel like society's turned on the whole transgender thing, if that's what you're talking
well,
about.
I sure hope so because it's incredibly dangerous. It's really
Oh yeah,
bad.
like
And
with me, they
I
lost me as soon as they went for the kids. I was like,
That's right. When these derangements were turned on the children, of course,
yeah,
that's and I can assure you, fucking 10 years ago when I was working at that progressive newspaper and I was covering the LGBT, well, I should say the LGBT, the queer community
hmm,
in Vancouver. And I was told, actually, I was covering I would, every year I would cover the Vancouver Queer Film Fest. And, uh, and this was the first time I really became aware of what was happening. It would be about 10 years ago. And
hmm,
the programmer at the time, we did an interview, and she told me about the arguments that were happening internally about trans activists, trans rights.
hmm,
And I was surprised to hear this because I hadn't really thought about it. And I did what I think a lot of people now are doing, where they just sort of lump it all together
yeah,
and think it's all kind of the same thing. It's a very superficial um, sort of perception of the whole thing. And I was surprised to hear that. Well, and around the same time was when I mean, this was a fast education for me. It was around the same time that the Vancouver Women's Rape Relief Shelter was being defunded because trans activists, I think, had gone to the BC High Court
Mm-hmm.
to complain that a man who identified as a woman
Yeah.
would not wasn't allowed, wasn't given a job, was not hired at the
Mm-hmm.
Rape Relief Center. Quite rightly, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah. Like that's where this is where turfs were born.
And they were defunded. And a friend of mine who
Mm-hmm.
she wasn't a friend at the time, she's now, but who was a very prominent critic of gender ideology, had her life destroyed because she was speaking out, and she was speaking out not against trans rights, she was speaking in defense of women's rights.
Yeah.
That's kind of the weird part about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I don't understand where a lot of women I know don't seem to grasp this.
Well, I think they don't grasp it because they think about it in abstract. Like they don't like when you talk to people about the transgender, like trans women going into female prisons and raping the prisoners because they're still effectively dudes who identify as women. And people are like, they wouldn't do that. Like for some reason people forget that crazies exist and that like Munchausen by proxy, those parents who make their kids sick just so they can get attention. Like they forget that there's fucking genuine evil people out there. Like they just assume that if someone has to fight for the right to identify as a woman, that they're gonna be an okay person and they're
Yeah,
not gonna exploit the
it's yeah.
situation they're in.
I think you're right. It's the fallacy of a stable world
Yeah.
in a time of like really accelerating instability,
Mm-hmm.
and it's being provoked, that
Yeah.
kind of instability.
And
But
it's funny because like I've been like listening to this whole discussion because Joe Rogan's been one of the early people who talked about it, where he had this author on there who was talking about how a lot of women who are transing into men, a lot of them have like undiagnosed autism. So they're like not specifically thinking, like they just have basically what you would call more of a male brain where they're like more scientific and factual than emotional. So they're like I don't know. It's all this stuff too, and it's like I feel
it's like
like
endless justifications for what is ultimately a corporate program and
yeah,
a corporate government program. Here's a funny thing about it all is that, you'll hear constantly that, trans people are the most oppressed people on earth. And yet I live in a country where I can, trans people have nothing but the support of their
oh
government
yeah,
on
like
every level.
and then
They
they
have, and
fought,
they have the whole corporate world pushing
yeah,
the agenda too. This is the most celebrated
yeah,
oppressed group ever.
yeah,
It's
and they also got the hormone therapy and the treatments to be covered by insurance.
There's a whole industry
Oh,
covered by
big
insurance.
pharma must love that, which probably didn't affect where these trans groups were getting funding 10
Oh,
years
it's
ago,
it,
how they
it,
just kind of popped up.
it's a little bit of a cash cow for the medical industrial
Yeah.
complex. Yes. And yeah, I mean, I used to not give a fuck what people wanted to do, and I kind
Hmm.
of still don't give a fuck what people want to do. Um, really. Mi-
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. But yes, that derangement was turned on children.
Hmm.
And Canada's a unique case, and I think the rest of the world is looking at Canada with some curiosity right now, because even in the UK, which is probably further along in the journey into technocracy,
Hmm.
but even in the UK, they've shut down a bunch of those gender clinics after the WPATH files were released, and then the CAS report was published, and the CAS report was devastating to the entire community. Over here in Canada, the CAS report is whatever. It's smeared as right-wing propaganda, which is the fucking cheapest and lousiest smear
Hmm.
going. And boy, oh boy, am I tired of that. But whatever. We're never going to win this argument.
No, I think it's already like it's one of those things where it was like they just pushed too hard and then the natural push back
But well, yeah,
came.
agreed. But who was pushing too hard? See, again, this is another thing that it's not organic. I don't believe
Oh
it's
no.
organic. And I do think, I mean, I remember at the beginning of COVID when I was really, really suffering because I felt very alone. And a friend in Vancouver who thought that I was crazy, but was sensitive enough to hook me up with a friend of his who was living in Taiwan at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And this fellow was much smarter than me.
Mm-hmm.
And and he understood where I was coming from, and he tried to put it in terms that I would understand. He said, "You really have to look at the Cultural Revolution, the Chinese Cultural Revolution,
Mm-hmm.
and how reality was torn asunder in order for people's psychologies to be rebuilt in terms, in a way that the state could approve of, be
Mm-hmm.
compatible with the state's goals and aims." And
Mm-hmm.
and he was totally right about that because one of the things that happens in when totalitarianism sets in is, and Orwell, of course, pointed this out. I know we all read 1984, but only six of us understood it. You take you destroy the meaning of words.
Yeah.
You separate words from their meaning,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now he, she, they, that, man, woman, they have no meaning, these words.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a way of inducing free-floating anxiety, which makes us vulnerable to the predations of uh, of the state.
Mm-hmm.
And the state has goals that we are not. Some of us are aware of it, but most of us aren't.
Yeah.
And they've been talking, they're not even hiding it. They talk about it all the time. They talk about it all the time. Now Canada is, they're going to copy the UK and they're going to introduce this like online harms act or whatever the fuck it's called. And we're going to start getting arrested. I know you wanted to talk about Graham Linehan. I don't, Graham Linehan is, here's a good example of someone who I think talks a lot of shit, but he's very right on one issue.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been extremely courageous on one issue that I happen to agree with. And I've seen him, what happened to him? He got fucking arrested for tweeting about that issue.
Mm-hmm.
And
Retweeting in one instance.
is
He
it?
didn't even write the tweet. I think it was three tweets, like, and one of them was a retweet, and he just retweeted something,
Yeah,
and that's fucking bonkers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's coming here.
Oh yeah.
It's coming here. So I'm fucked. I'm really fucked. You're kind of fucked.
I
Uh,
mean, I work in the
so
trade,
that,
so
that's
it's gonna take longer to affect me because I'm in an industry of people who are a lot more closed-minded than myself, so I have them as a human shield, so I should be okay for a bit.
I keep telling yourself that, buddy.
I will.
I live on a little island. I think it's an ark, but it's not. I mean, it's all around us right
Ah,
now.
well, you shouldn't have filled your arc with shit libs, Adrian.
Hey, I tried my best. There's only so much one man can do.
That's true.
I arrived here as a shit lib.
That's the like I used to be like I joined the social justice warriors group 20
Yeah,
years ago when I was in
yeah,
college or 25 years ago. I
yeah.
was all in.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing, and so I respect you for being on the, you've been on the journey.
Well, the thing was, I have the same ideals as I did back then,
Mhm.
but I've just been told that I'm no longer welcome in their tribe,
I
which
know
is fine by me.
I've said this to a couple of friends of mine. They're still my friends, even though we
Hmm.
bitterly oppose each other in many ways. But like it's really easy to call yourself anti-fascist. It's really
Oh
easy
yeah.
to call yourself anti-racist. It's really easy to say that I'm against homophobia. We're all against those things. It's the easiest fucking thing in the world. Here's
Hmm.
my challenge to you, my friend. Stand up for something that isn't popular. Do that. Do that.
Or
Graham Linehan did it, and I think he's a twat in a lot of ways, but
yeah,
he was right and he was courageous and he became a victim. He showed us what's coming.
Jordan
I mean,
Peterson
he's
did
out
the
there.
same thing. And
Yeah, again, twat.
a lot of people don't like him,
Well, he's horrible.
but he refused to use his pronouns, so he lost his license to
So So that's funny.
Practice.
When I remember that video when it was, oh, what, 10 years ago when he was confronted by a bunch of activists at the was it U of T, and
Something like that, yeah.
he stood his ground, and that was around the same time that I was starting to wonder about all of this,
Hmm.
and so I kept an eye on him just because I was so impressed with his performance there, and with his the certainty that he demonstrated. You know, I felt like, he had the better argument, and yeah, whatever's happened to him. I mean, that's another, again, here's a whole other episode, but I think somebody got to Jordan Peterson actually.
Oh
And
yeah.
oh yeah, whatever went down in Russia and with the benzos and with
Oh
his
yeah. When he was like fighting for his life.
yeah. There's something strange there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think he was captured,
It's funny
but
because I say I like Jordan Peterson, but I haven't actually listened to stuff he's got to say for like probably 5 years. And basically I only have exposure to him from his episodes on Joe Rogan.
mm, so you didn't go see,
I need to go soon. Yeah.
that's what you just did.
You saw me? Yeah.
Uh,
She just popped her head in and asked if I was almost done. Is there anything else you want to say?
Not really. I think I blew a gasket.
That's good. If it
I
helps, not many people make it to the end of the podcast, so
I
I don't think
bet you
you have
this
anything
one,
to
I bet you
lose.
they make it to the end of this one.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people will be mad and rage quit listening to this before then.
immediately.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Mm. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried. Except that we're on a list.
Yeah.
The
We've
nice thing is,
I've been on that list for a while, probably.
yeah, me too. And the other thing is, like, the people that have to actually be actionable
Hmm.
with the list, I suspect not all of them are completely dedicated to the program. And I
No.
take some comfort. I mean, I'm getting less optimistic all the time, but
Don't get blackpilled. That's what they want.
I know. I
I was gonna say that about this whole. I just want to get this out before we finish. But I was
yeah.
gonna say that about the whole Charlie Kirk, and it kind of turns into what you were saying about how they're trying to tribalize everybody. Is like everybody's been red pilled at this point, either by Epstein or COVID. Everybody knows they're being lied to. So now they're trying to blackpill us in that just turn us all into nihilists so that we don't give a fuck and we think there's no hope. So we turn into the lost boys that like Charlie Kirk was talking about. So we just pull away from society and hide in our basement and just like fucking do whatever we can to make it hurt less and disassociate until it's over.
I think you know what? You're right.
But don't accept the Lord Jesus Christ into your heart. Just kidding.
No, you just nailed it,
Yeah.
and you got my attention. I think you're right about that, and then you put that beautifully, and that's a great place to end this.
Hmm.
That was excellent.
I'll take all the compliments you have, sir. All right, thanks a lot, Adrian. I'm
You're
gonna
welcome.
stop the recording. Until next time, stay angry.